when we start the discussion. Right before.
Right before the discussion? So what is this? Is this the pregame?
Yeah, we're waiting.
Hi, welcome to High Key Book
No, do
Club's
that after
waiting room. We're so glad that you could join us.
There's no one there.
Oh my goodness. So how do they know when we've started?
I can tweet.
How will we know when they have...
Well, no one might join us. That's okay.
I think the whole point is that you just jump in and then they'll be able to rewatch it later if they want.
Have you never seen a live stream? Remember when you
No.
saw Lizzo?
Yes.
Remember she was just sitting there eating?
Yes.
She was just waiting for people to show up. Then she'll say something motivational, then wait a little bit, you know.
That's not how she was doing it. She was just responding to people were saying in the chat.
Well, yeah.
But she's the kind of person where as soon as she starts, she gets like 5,000 people watching.
Right.
She doesn't have a waiting period.
Right. Well, but a lot of people do.
I know, but we should just jump right in and then people can rewatch it later on. I don't like how people can't see my mouth. Like, do you like that? I wish.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Well, you can see my mouth just fine from the side over there.
Okay. You were a little low last podcast, though.
Oh, no. Maybe if I... something like this. Maybe. I'm going to try this. I'll try talking like this. Hopefully this is good. Hopefully people hear. Maybe I can look and see while we're waiting. Can you hear me okay, y'all? Welcome to Cameron Land. I think I'm this mic. Hello, 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 hello. Hopefully that helped.
See, this is what happens when we're late.
What? I mean, okay.
Everyone
and you're talking to who about that?
Everyone went to sleep.
Yes. This is why we should just do this tomorrow night.
No. I already tweeted.
Like, what is the whole...
Okay,
what is the whole...
Let's just start.
Okay.
It's like...
You still want to do it?
What?
You want to talk tonight?
Of course.
Okay. We're here. We made it.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
It was a lot of effort. I'm not setting this up again.
And with that, welcome to the official High Key Book Club podcast.
Well, wait.
Live streaming. Ooh, that's so hot. Who recorded that? Oh, this is great. I can like, we should have brushed your teeth before going.
Oh my god.
Zelenny and High Key Book Club.
Thanks.
I'm like, ooh, girl. But no, I want to say, like, so we just ate dinner right before coming on, and I was very adamant to Zelenny about us not eating in front of you because I would not be able to live with myself knowing that I was on screen eating in front of people.
Oh, they're here.
Oh.
They've been here.
Wow. They're like, are you seeing chat, Zelenny?
No.
Sophie's like, I don't want to see your mouth. And Juan is like, yes, we can hear. Thank you. Oh, this is great. See? And even Neo's Six Aimer. Is there a Stranger Things book? That's a great question.
There is.
There is?
But this isn't a book club. I'm sorry if it's misleading about it.
Oh, too real. Too real. I love it.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm so glad that we could come live and fresh to you guys. 9 o'clock Texas time. Here we are. How'd you like that intro? Oh, that's an original composition. I feel like I'm loud. Maybe I turned myself up too loud. Are they like, Cameron's too loud?
No.
We in this? Yes. All right.
Cool.
We in this too.
Yeah, we are.
We in this Twitch.
Okay, we made it.
Twitch,
I'm trying to figure out here.
So
So you can see the chat.
I don't know if you've listened to any of our episodes out on iTunes or Google Play or Google Chrome, but we
Just
out
us.
there. And if you've been with us since day one, you would know that our very first episode, over 2 years ago, was Stranger Things
2.
2.
Not Stranger. We never did Stranger Things 1.
We skipped that bitch
Yeah.
and went straight to number 2.
Thanks, Juan.
So it was one of those things that was interesting because I was very against watching Stranger Things to begin with. And
Wait,
then
what?
Zelenny, and then Zelenny had to convince me to watch it with her. And it was a really important step for me to take because it was my first, I would say, modern contemporary show that I really decided to give a chance to watch.
You were against Netflix.
I was.
Right.
And I mean, to a degree, still am. Against Netflix originals. Oh crap! I'm shooting myself in the foot in case I ever want to work there.
Wow. Well, but now you
It's
like
okay.
them.
I hope Netflix executives never watch this, and if you are watching this, I love Netflix.
Well, you do now. You like Stranger Things.
There's nothing evil about Netflix.
You loved Stranger Things 3.
Just
getting
so I
to the
do.
point.
Yes, getting straight to the point of this episode of this live.
Yeah.
Is that I fell in love, but maybe it was because it debuted on Independence Day.
Okay.
And we all know about how much Cameron loves his America. I also love my Texas.
Oh my god.
Made sure to put that in there for all you Texans out there. How many Texans do we have in the chat? Give us a thumbs up. Give us a, I don't know, a gun emoji.
No,
Oh, no.
Cameron. No.
Don't do that.
No.
Kazim.
So yeah, we thought it would be a nice debut to Haiku Book Club season 2 to come back with Stranger Things 3 since it just came out. It was a little less hype than last one, I feel like.
You feel like?
Well, I feel like people weren't watching it as fast. So now's a good time because I think most people have caught up.
You think so?
Yeah. People I know.
Oh, dang.
Thumbs down.
I know.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, you could interpret that kind of like the handle. Never mind.
No. So yeah, this is season 2 of Haiku Book Club. If you're listening to this,
This is season 2? We're in it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And if you're listening to this audio or watching this later, this is a live stream on Twitch. So we have people in the chat, a few people.
A few awesome people that showed up. I mean, you could have been doing anything in the world tonight and you're here with us.
They get to interact. So if you hear us talking to other people that aren't me or Cameron, it's probably the Twitch chat.
The Twitchers.
Well, no.
What do they call them? Are they Twitchers?
I don't know.
Okay. What are we? Are we Twitchers? Yeah, they're the Twitchies.
I don't know. But if you want to interact, we'll tweet out when we're live streaming. And that is at Haiku Book Club.
There you go. So you have to go follow us on Twitter to get the news about that, the breaking news.
Nobody is a Twitcher.
Twitcher, please.
The chat says.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Who's French?
There's a lot of Frenchie is Fish's sister.
Oh, I remember Frenchie. Oh, I'm embarrassed now. Frenchie, she was my cheerleader during the Super Smash game. I remember that. So, because she noticed my strategy from afar that night when nobody else did. And I came in like a silent ninja.
Okay, cool. Lots of friends in the chat.
Is Pam here?
I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. We'll shout out Pam whenever she shows up.
Oh my god.
She's probably asleep.
Probably. But Sophie's there.
Cool. What's up,
Juan
Sophie?
and Fish.
Hey, Juan. I hope y'all are all right with us using your first names on air.
True.
This is Bob, and that's Rick.
Anyway, Stranger Things 3. What is the consensus?
What? What is a consensus? I don't know. Enlighten us.
The consensus. You liked it.
No.
I didn't.
Yeah,
as much.
you did not. As much as you rewatched it.
I just rewatched it twice.
You rewatched it twice.
No.
So
I
you've
rewatched
seen it
it
already
once.
2 more times than I have.
No, I rewatched it once. Just once. So I only watched it twice. But the other season 2 I rewatched.
So the second the rewatch the rewatch didn't do anything for you?
I mean I liked it, but no. I pretty much got everything the first round. Sophie agrees season 3 was her least fave as well.
This is interesting.
I think it's a polarizing. I think it's polarizing. Like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people that are like, best season yet. And I'm like, nah.
So I thought the season was tight. I thought that the writing was really consistent and that
I disagree.
they didn't leave as many open loopholes as in previous seasons. But I'm excited to jump into what some of those kind of unresolved issues were, including... So I'm just going to jump right in. And by the way, this is where we let you know that there are going to be some spoilers. We are going to spoil the crap out of this season. And so if you haven't watched it, then go ahead and just hang out with us and we'll tell you all about it. It'd be great.
Yeah, no, we'll have spoilers from now on. Mm-hmm. But okay.
Yep.
So you're saying...
Never mind.
The writing
I was gonna be like,
good?
we're gonna be like a drag race, but then they could get confused with RuPaul's Drag Race, and it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
What were you saying? I was gonna say that I think one of the unresolved questions was why are the rats
important?
No, well, not even just that, but why are the rats? Why are they all exploding, and why is the poison to them this fertilizer?
Well, no.
Did they ever explain that?
The real loophole is what are the chemicals about? Like, we know it's to build the monster, but like we don't really know why. I mean, just 'cause he's nasty? Is that it?
Yeah, it's
so
exactly.
The rats,
it's a good question.
The rats were important because that's how he started building his body. But then it turned to humans. But first it was rats. They're easier to, like, control.
Right.
He had to get, like, Billy to, like, be his human, like, ambassador. But rats, it was just easy to, like, grab, control, and melt together. You know?
Makes sense, yeah.
So I think the rats weren't a loophole or like a unexplained
No, but I'm
thing.
saying the poison that, or is it's fertilizer that kills them, right? Or is it not that it kills them, but it's what makes them crazy?
I don't know. The chemicals to me did not fit in. Like they didn't make sense in the end. It didn't come back as like, oh, it was that.
It was a given. They wanted you just to take that for face value that was the driving mechanism for. They
built it up as a huge mystery, and then it wasn't. Like there was no really satisfying thing. Juan says, shouldn't there have been a step between rats and humans? Probably. I agree. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, that's weird. I think that was like the big like.
But I mean, maybe not though, because rats are like they're kind of used in right. I mean, well, they're used in a lot of laboratory experiments. I mean, all of our pharmaceutical drugs.
Maybe it's symbolism for that.
Yeah, the only reason we're able to take them is because a bunch of other rats were able to take them before us.
That's fucked up. Don't make me think about that.
Well, I'm sorry, but this is reality.
Oh my god. Right. Yeah, that was an unresolved thing. I just thought it was too much action, not enough setup.
I love the action, and we've talked a lot about that on this show. How Zelenny, she just falls asleep during the action, and it's weird how I, as well as the rest of humanity, seems to need action in order to not fall asleep during a show or movie. So go figure on that, but that's part of why I liked it. I felt like the pace and the momentum just kept kind of driving this whole season, and I really dug it. I liked the new characters. I liked Robin.
You did? Let's talk
I
about
did.
Robin.
Yeah, let's talk about her.
She's the daughter of Uma Thurman.
What?
You didn't know that?
No.
Girl, are you serious?
That's where she gets it from.
Yeah.
Damn.
You know who Uma Thurman is? I'm surprised.
What do you mean you're surprised? Of course I know who. I'm surprised you know who Uma Thurman
Oh
is.
my god, of course I know.
What is Kill Bill?
What do you mean, what is Kill Bill?
What is that?
A movie.
Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's violent. But I know she's in it.
Yes. I actually don't. I only
But
know like 3 of her movies.
She's also, she's Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's child. Do you know Ethan Hawke?
Of course I know Ethan Hawke.
Okay, he's her dad.
Wow. She's a celebrity baby.
Yeah, she really is.
I
She's
had no
cool. She was
idea.
a fine addition.
See, but
and she had a
that's
good
what's
twist
crazy.
at
It
the
makes
end.
it so hard for like other actors to break through.
Oh my god.
They get all these privileged positions when they
That's just
are
how it
born
is.
into.
She has 2 very famous parents. But she was good. But yeah.
She was great. She was very
whatever.
good. I mean, do you think that those types of people just have acting in their genes? Like it's in their DNA
Well, no,
that
but
they're designed by nature to be entertainers, to channel the inner human condition for others to view and to relate to?
A little. I think it's nature and nurture combined, as most things.
No, they just have money.
That too. Well, if the kid expresses interest when they're young, like, oh, acting seems cool, then they'll put them in classes. They know all the right people. You know, it just kind of. If the kid is interested, usually. I mean, yeah. Anyway, she was good. She was
great. I mean, so I really liked her acting. I thought she was really awesome.
This was probably her big break.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna come back or do more things. I wonder.
I forget. She was in a movie that I saw that
Wait,
I'm
what?
trying to remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Her name's Maya Hawke.
Maya Hawke. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
She took Ethan's last name. I
Yeah,
guess
it's
that's
her
typical.
dad.
I didn't take my dad's last name.
All right.
I'm a
You're an
weirdo.
anomaly.
That's why I'm not a famous actor.
I'm weird.
Yet.
I'm a weirdo.
No, I saw her in a movie, but I'm blanking on which movie I saw
We
it. But it was a 2019 movie.
That's this year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We saw Millie Bobby Brown in Godzilla. She was great. She had more fashion this time.
More hair.
Yeah, she always has more hair each season.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Anyway, we saw her in Godzilla, and she essentially played a similar character. Well, actually, she played a character with no personality.
So, wait. So, do you
In
think
Godzilla.
11 has personality?
Yeah, she's like an alien, like you.
Oh. Trick question.
No, yeah. I think...
Wait, are you saying I have no personality?
No, I said 11 does have a personality. It's alien.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Oh, my God. She had no personality in Godzilla.
I see.
Anyway.
In which she was not an alien.
No, she was just a regular girl with a weird mom that kept switching from the good and bad side. I didn't understand.
I remember now. It was weird.
Yeah. So anyway, I just think, so there's an epidemic with TV when they get in the later seasons or just like get a lot of success. I feel like they start to only reference themselves and like never create anything new for their characters, or like I don't know.
So do you feel like the established characters were not built upon
At all
much here?
No.
So I kind of agree. This is a good point. They stuck with really just a main central conflict, and you would think that maybe they would grow a little bit more given that they're getting older. I think that they did kind of put them in some relationship type of situations.
I think the kids had
forced
some
them to grow and change.
Yeah, and that's why like the first 2 episodes.
Except Will.
Well, no, wait, we'll get to that. So That's why, like, the first 2 episodes or, like, the beginning of any piece of media is always my favorite, because that's when you get to know your characters. Like, yeah, okay, we're seeing some input from the chat.
Oh, cool.
Some
Okay.
developments. So I do think the kids kind of had the most development in, like, the friendship department. It's hard.
Friendship
It's like
department.
it's like we don't get very many moments of the.
I thought you were gonna say mimosa.
We don't get very many moments of the characters, like, learning new things about them. So we get that a bit in the first 2 episodes with the mall, and Elle and Max developing a friendship is a big one. Sophie mentioned. But, like, I feel like there's very few moments compared to past seasons where that's the stuff you fall in love with about characters. Like, that's even what they brand. It's like 11 loves Eggos. Like, it's still a thing now, but, like, why don't we get a new thing she loves?
Well, she doesn't love very much.
What?
11.
Well, yeah, she loves Mike and Eggos. That's all we get. 3 seasons. I mean, she likes cool 80s prints now, I guess. But I don't know. I just feel like Jonathan doesn't get, like, any scene.
I was going to say,
like,
Jonathan
Will.
and Nancy, they both stayed pretty, kind of just, they were tools.
They have, like, a little fight, and it's just like, he comes back, and it's fine.
Like, does Max
never
learn anything about?
Max never gets a scene with Billy, which, like, this was, like, Billy's big season, and only the last. And she doesn't get one scene.
You see what I deal with? Oh my god.
So Juan is saying Dustin grew. He got a girlfriend, but that was at the very beginning. That was literally the first sentence, probably, of the whole season.
Oh, you know who we did see grow?
Who?
Was, I forget.
Erica?
Is it Erica?
The kid? The little one? The sister?
Sister? Yeah.
Erica. Yeah, she got more. I mean, the new characters are the only ones we get to see, like, the way we saw the others in season 1 and 2. Like, I would say Erica and Robin. And that's why we like them, because, like, we learn about them, you know? Are you listening?
I am.
But the other characters, I just feel we don't learn anything new. Like, there's some highlight moments, like, also Will, like, they did his character so dirty, but he had that one really nice moment of destroying the fort. Remember?
Wait, which character did that?
Will.
Right.
Remember?
And that was a powerful moment.
Yeah,
it was really sad.
It was very symbolic of, like, a boy growing up, and before that he'd been trying to get everyone to play D&D the whole time, and then after that he's just focused on the monster. But the problem is, like, it was just that one moment, and then the rest of it he was very, like, one note, and, like, he has all this trauma they didn't explore. Like, I feel like he didn't get any time with Joyce. I just feel like they split them up to, like, the whole season, and they never got to interact between the groups until the very end, but they're just running at that point. Sophie says she loves Will this season because he just wants to play some games. Yeah. I love one of the best scenes, and see, it's like new things. It's like when they're spying on the boys through telekinesis or whatever.
That's true.
11
I remember
Max.
that scene.
That
Oh my
good.
god.
They're just farting, being nasty.
Oh man, I feel like that's exactly what, like, girls just wish they could do.
How dare you? That's not
They
true.
just wish they could teleport and spy.
I don't want to see y'all farting around.
Well, yeah, and that's what's beautiful about the scene, is it shows just exactly what you'd see every time.
I'm just being dumb. That was a good one.
Dang.
Yeah. So Fish is saying you're right. You caught us, girls. that we want to do that.
They all want to spy on man farts. I get
Whatever.
it.
And there was like adult people, like fans of the show, getting mad at 11 and Max for doing that, but they're like teenage girls. Like,
That's funny.
they're canceled. They would spy.
That's funny.
It's dumb.
I mean, if I had that special power, I would definitely be best friends with that person.
Oh, wait, what? If you had that power?
I know, I messed up. I would use that power to my advantage to get friends.
They're kids. They're dumb.
So hey, and in all due respect, what we did see with, like, was noted in the chat about Elle and Max's friendship growing is that we
really
did
nice.
see Elle starting to branch out into, because she hated Max or was like super scared of her or just
threatened.
didn't like her at first, and Elle didn't really have any female friends, and so it's like kind of the first time where, and also Max is kind of this masculine female, so it's nice to see that there's this girl power happening between the two of them, and they feel like they can bond and revolt.
That was the best part of the season. I dump your ass. That was the best line. Oh, so good. It was so good because Mike is fucking annoying sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he just like takes everything for granted.
Yeah, I guess.
But what was messed up about Mike in that regard, right, is that his whole mantra the entire show has been friends don't lie. And
right.
I guess boyfriends do.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was
But,
good.
it's tough.
See,
It's tough. It's hard
first
out
two
there.
episodes-
It's hard out there for a little boyfriend.
The first 2 episodes were great. After that, it was just all running around, action, shooting, Russians.
I loved it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. I like the cinematography. I like the
Well,
production
that's
design.
great.
It
That's
was all
always
very
great.
full, and I liked that they kind of moved into these bigger spaces. I felt like this time. I liked
mall.
the underground mall, the mall itself, the carnival. Right? Is that fair to say? It was a fair.
Yeah. The, like, 4th of July carnival.
Mm-hmm. I liked that, and yeah, I are there. Well, so I guess to wrap up characters, there's one character we haven't mentioned yet who was kind of the justice
talk of the
for
hour.
what
Oh.
tacos.
No, the talk of the hour.
So, wait, what is the talk
There
of
was
the
too
hour?
much 80s Russians.
Well, so I was gonna
the chat
mention.
is divided on how many Russians was appropriate.
I was gonna mention.
for the season.
Would 40 Russians be enough? Would that be okay? No, I'm just kidding. But I was actually going to say that I think that they kind of did that compensation of the character development in order to introduce this bigger kind of global scale of conflict happening with Russians coming in.
Do you think they'll keep going with that, though? Or will they abandon it like they abandoned the other experiments?
YouTube certainly thinks that they're going to keep going with the Russian theory.
Well, yeah, that's logical based on the post-credit scene. But yeah, we haven't talked about Joyce and Hopper and Murray. Murray,
right.
He also got extra time, he's a great character, I think.
Right. Well, we
Murray.
also didn't talk
Alexi.
about Lexi, right? The
Alexi.
Justice for Alexi.
Yeah, I guess Justice for Alexi this season. He was like the standout viral moment character. With the Slurpee, he's on T-shirts.
I did not know he went viral, but that's cool.
Of course you don't. No, but he was beloved, obviously.
Yes.
For being, the Barb of the season, the Bob.
Right.
Of the
Well,
season.
also, he's so funny because it's weird. They give the one character that they end up killing off the biggest arc in the entire season.
Yeah.
He starts as being like this really shady. He starts up being like innocent, being like, "There's nothing wrong with me," and then he's like, "No, actually, I'm gonna go hang out with the Russians." But then he's like, "Okay, never mind. I'm gonna hang out with you guys," and I guess acclimate to being American. And he's like, "Okay, this is kind of cool." And just when he's starting to get the hang of Americanism.
I know.
And I'm sorry, it's the Russian way.
It's all tied in with the patriotism, pro-America of a 4th of July themed season, I feel like. Because at the end, he, like, wants the American dream and he has it for, like, a split second. It's very, like, poetic.
It is very poetic. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. I mean, I'm not saying the season was horrible. I'm just saying my favorite is season 2, which is, like, no one's favorite is season 2 for some reason, but I love season 2. But anyway.
I can't exactly remember how it all happens when they're at the carnival. It's like he's playing a game and he realizes what it means to be American. He's like, oh, you like pay money and you get reward when you do well. Something like that.
Sure. Yeah, he's just on his way back to Murray with his corn dogs, and he has his prize, and Terminator comes through and, you know, assassinates.
We have that dude.
Yeah, he's a villain. He's our everyday villain.
He's the everyday bad guy, for sure.
He's very Terminator. He was definitely based on him, referencing him. He did an AMA on Reddit that I read through. He seemed nice.
Nice.
So did Alexi, though.
That's so cool. Yeah. The underdogs of the series.
Yeah.
Or not series, I mean season.
Right. Do you think, is a Terminator dead for sure?
What do you mean? No,
not the Terminator, the one in Stranger Things. Like, did he die at the end? I'm pretty sure. Do y'all know?
What was?
His name was, like, oh God, I don't know. I'm just going to make up something Russian. Yeah, Juan says he did die. And Sophie said...
Well, yeah, no, he died because...
Oh, that's what I was asking.
Well, yeah, remember...
He melted?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so she looked away because she doesn't have the nerve to watch great cinema.
No.
When it's right in front of her.
Hopper threw him in the machine.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. He sure did.
He did.
And it's very clear if you watch.
Well, I can't watch the violence. But honestly, I was able to handle the grotesque monster more than I would expect myself to. I think it was just too far out there that I was like, okay with it. But yeah, so no new developments, I think. No major, except for a few standout moments that we mentioned. It's just like we don't get to know our characters very much. As much as I want.
They flirt around with the idea of, yes, we'll get to the CGI for sure. It was awesome.
He said he looked too CGI, the monster.
Dang it. Well, it's true, you know, and that's something I was noticing just now when we were watching the finale before starting this. But, yeah, I see where you're coming from. You know, suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. It goes back and forth. I think it's just hard. That's like a very weird monster. Like, it's hard. You don't have that much real life to base it on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not like an animal.
Well, like, I remember something I was noting when watching it was how they have to basically film just like a set.
Right.
They just have to like take a camera through this giant set of a mall or the streets, roads, or whatever it is, and just pretend like there's a monster there. And it's just interesting because it takes a lot of planning to do in advance.
It's intense CGI for television, especially, but yeah, it goes back and forth. It's hard to make a really far-fetched monster look real or like believable. I don't know, just because it's a weird concept to begin with.
I thought that, you know, it was interesting how they were trying to play the Steve and Robin romance throughout most of the season.
That was like our twist, you know?
It was a cool twist at the end, and ended up having a positive message for LGBTQ representation.
Well, people have been wanting for a long time, like, confirmation about Will being gay, potentially.
And it's in there, isn't it? Doesn't he say something like that?
Oh, this season. Well, see, I'm pretty 100% sure that he is. especially with the hints in every season. Not even hints; they're pretty like obvious.
I thought he like explicitly
well, he
alluded
said
to it.
it's not my fault you're not into girls. Mike says to him.
Right.
So, but obviously, all the homophobes on Reddit and whatnot see it as like, oh, he's just not growing up as fast and doesn't like girls yet.
Oh, so there's like a whole community on the defense about
course,
his...
the homophobe.
Oh
people,
my god.
People debate this like so hard. I'm just like, I think the evidence is there. And especially for the 80s, the way they innuendo it, I don't know. It just feels more like the times.
Well, it's a script. Hold on. Let's
what?
For the 80s? Oh, well, I mean, I
like
hear
for
what you're
the
saying.
time period, saying something like what Mike
Right.
said.
I mean,
with
that would be ostracizing yourself. Self-ostracization.
Right. Exactly. Like you have to be a lot more subtle about it, I think, in the 80s. And then you don't just say what Mike said and then
it's not even subtle. Like you just have to either own it or
hide it.
Yeah, and especially as a kid, like
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think the people have some internalized homophobia that like fight it so hard that he probably is, especially with all the comments every fucking season that like imply it heavily. But yeah, that was an important moment, I think, just to further that narrative. We'll probably get more. I hope so, just so those people can shut up about it. It's just like, why do they fight this so hard? Like, they're like, I didn't like girls till I was blah, blah, blah age. It's like, okay, whatever. Anyway.
I liked girls since I was 3.
Okay.
I kissed a girl.
No, we're gonna get copyright again.
Oh no!
Our last stream was great in the moment.
It was shot down.
It was shot down by copyright. So that's why.
But that was so much fun,
It was so fun.
We are so happy that we could have shared that moment with y'all. It was awesome. It's tough. I want to look at the chat to be like, "What's up, y'all?" But then I realize I have to look there to be like, "What's up, y'all?"
Yeah. Oh, Sophie has a theory that the actor that plays Will is gay. I'm pretty sure he's in love with Millie Bobby Brown. And she just friend-zoned him really hard. And she dated Jacob Sartorius. But that's like teen drama.
What magazine do you be reading?
J14.
Oh, so we had the funnest trip the other night. It was just a nice little date night, and we found ourselves inside Barnes and Noble in the magazine section, and I was taken aback by all of the girl magazines. Especially, so it started out with like the youth girl magazines, and then it went to the like, I guess, preteen or teen girl magazines.
Like teen drama.
Yeah, very interesting. And turns out Netflix is a big supporter. Super Spawn.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of She-Ra ads in it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, back to Stranger Things. So, Juana asked if we think the real life cast or the actors have real life drama too. I don't know about drama. Well, like the Nancy and Jonathan are dating, which
in real life?
Yeah.
Really?
But you know my feelings about like teen couples in a show dating in real life. I don't always buy it. But they're always like in Europe, like looking cold together. I don't know.
Looking cold together?
Yeah, like cold. Like in codes. But anyway,
cold with you.
I do think some of the kids don't like.
Cold.
Jonathan. That actor had some drama, some drug issues.
What?
Maybe that's why he wasn't in season 3 as much. Because he's British, so maybe he couldn't come into the country or something. He got like busted for drugs, like trying to fly with them. Cocaine.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It sounds like Glee.
Glee?
No, I don't know.
Oh. What you saying about Glee? Anyway. So yeah, I think they have drama. I feel like Mike, Finn, he doesn't like anyone, it seems. at all anywhere.
Right, and I dig him. I like following him on Instagram.
I've seen a lot of interviews with them, and he's always like the cool guy, on the side, the smart ass.
Yeah, who also I feel like it's just like above it all, and he's like none of
He's
this
like,
matters.
I'm in it. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh! I guess.
Yeah, just in
Damn.
Godzilla.
Oh my god.
Flop.
Yeah, I want to see Godzilla 2. Never.
Dang. Anyway, so yeah.
Got it? No.
Oh.
I've
Where
never
were
seen
we?
it. I'd like to see
Stranger
it.
Things wise.
See, like so I want to do a series of videos this month for Spooktoberfest. And that's what I want to call it. And I think it would be a really cool one to do. But I don't know how I could ever convince Zelenny to watch it
because
with
I know
me.
the people are into it.
Yeah. So okay. Well, I need the people's help here.
I just won't
The people
watch
vote
half of it.
and let us know if you want us to do it. Tweet at us at Hikey Book Club so that we can know.
Ugh, it. No, I'm scared. I'm scared of horror movies. I want to do like fun witchy. We should do Bewitched. That's so good. Anyway, like the movie with Nicole Kidman.
Yes, like the movie with Nicole Kidman,
And
not
Will
the
Ferrell.
TV show from the 60s.
It's honestly really good in the first half. It just goes downhill though. It's really good though. Anyway, has a lot of famous people. Whatever. Okay.
Yes, true.
What?
Mike in real life.
Oh, wow. Sophie said Mike in real life is like little Timothy Chalamet. Cool. That's so true. Oh, they should play like brothers or something. That'd be cute. Oh, Sophie says her and Matt are doing spook season movies right now.
There we go. See?
I like spook, but
give
like
us some
camp.
Yeah, well, and that qualifies. That's why I thought Labyrinth was very campy. And you're like, no, nobody knows Labyrinth.
Well, they don't.
Okay. Well,
we could do Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think
that'd be great, but nobody knows that either.
People know that more than Labyrinth.
I guess.
Anyway, we'll see what we can. But yeah, Cameron refers to anything in October as Spooktoberfest now.
Yes.
Let's see. What else? Oh, so I found a foreshadowing that I'm pretty sure I'm the first person in the world to
I
catch.
was blown away. It was good, but it was only kind of like lucky because we saw that just now and you were able to put two and two together.
Yes. So let's talk about the end, which is the big controversial cliffhanger.
Yes.
Not cliffhanger.
Well, it's just confusing because, so we have a tragic death in the family.
But I didn't believe it for 0.2 seconds. Like, I did not. I was just like, no, there's no way. There's no way.
She totally didn't believe it. She was just like, it happens right in front of our faces.
No, but
so I believed
it doesn't
because I was like, they need a big death. They haven't had a big death yet.
They're too coward. They won't do it. They will never kill a main cast until like the final moment of the final episode.
And he's huge. He's like the core cast.
Of course, we're talking about Hopper. Big sacrifice at the end, which it was hard because it was supposed to be this emotional moment, and I was just like, I don't buy it. I'm not buying it.
That shot of his eyes when he's looking up, that last one with all this like slow motion tears just coming out of his eyes, and he got this little smile, and he just kind of nods his head. And
my god!
Kaboom!
Okay, yeah, that was like,
whoa.
Excuse the phrase, but it was the money shot of the season. Of course,
it was amazing.
It was great. That was beautiful and all, but I didn't believe the death. I did not. It's okay. It's still the card or the letter at the end is very moving. Cried. It's
very moving. So I guess that earlier. This started out in the season where Hopper was having issues with Eleven because he takes care of Eleven in his house, and
well, yeah, he's like her dad,
right? And he's having issues communicating his feelings about her growing up too fast and all that, and how he doesn't know how to handle it because he just wants to hold on to that like forever youthfulness of her, I guess. And so Joyce, he's looking for advice, and he asks Joyce, and he decides to write her a letter because it's everything that he wants to tell her that he can't to her face. And 11 finds the letter when they're moving in the end after the fact, after Hopper and the monster have all perished.
Yeah.
And the letter is very moving.
Yeah, it's like the sad recap at the end. We also get a nice shot of Max in Billy's empty room because that's also a death. That was like the only little moment we got of her mourning at all.
True.
Or anything acknowledging Billy. They never even had a like. It's kind of weird that 11 was the one that got through to him instead of Max. But okay, that's what I'm talking about. No new.
It's true.
But yeah, the letter's very moving, and then we have the post-credit scene that confirm my wild theory that he was somehow alive in that crazy explosion.
So that post-credit scene is wild, and
yeah,
I don't know what to think about the American, but the Russians only refer to one other person in the whole season as the American.
Everyone says it's Brenner.
Brenner?
You know who Brenner is?
The other guy? The guy who got...
No. He's like the original, like the guy that was 11's dad, like the lab dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which...
I mean...
I was so sure he was dead, but then all the theories came out about season 3, and everyone's like, oh, it's Brenner. Brenner's the American, probably. See, Sophie agrees. She thinks it could be Brenner.
Interesting.
She says she thinks they're both alive. Like, I agree. Hopper's there somewhere. The biggest theory for Hopper is that he escaped through the hole in the upside down. The gate.
Okay. So right, when he died, there was this big machine that was keeping the gate open, and when it was getting closed, he decided to quickly jump into it. Which
this is just a theory.
that's a big jump to make.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think it's kind of weird, but I also don't put it past them. Somehow in season 1, it was the same end, and 11 ended up in the upside down. There wasn't even a hole anywhere or a gate.
Do you think that, like, what if they were waiting for
yeah, so if we say
audience response, and then it's like, oh my God, we killed off Hopper too soon. Okay, yeah, let's go with their theory.
Whatever. No. No. Sophie's saying they didn't show him die, and that is the reason I never believed it for a second. No body, no death. We see all of the other gory ass Barb, Bob, Billy, Alexi. We see all their corpses, dead. We don't see a body.
There was no time to show his corpse. And besides, there's no corpse when it dissolves into a million bajillion particles.
But in the beginning, we saw the puddles of the scientists when they got melted. I don't know. He's alive. They're not going to kill off what's his face.
We didn't see Hopper's puddle?
No, we didn't. I was waiting for it to prove to me that he actually died, but he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where they would have like shown his shirt or something like that,
like his mustache or something. I was waiting for like the police
his badge, maybe.
Yeah, some police on a outfit on a puddle. That's what I was waiting for, but it didn't happen. So
that really would have been the Stranger Thing.
Yeah. I would have. So I caught this theory. Or no. I caught this foreshadowing that confirms the theory of him jumping through the gate.
Tell us.
earlier in the last episode that we just rewatched.
Tell us about it.
So 11. So they're all in the mall, like around the monster, still hiding. It's earlier in the episode. They're hiding from the monster, trying to find a way out. Most of the kids and Nancy and Jonathan. And then 11 is with Mike and Max, and they're trying to find a way out. And then 11 is like, oh, I know another way out.
How?
Through the gap.
Oh, like the Gap store?
Yeah. So through the store, the gap, but is it foreshadowing the only way out of Hopper's situation is through the gap of the gate to the upside down?
What do you think?
I think this is genius.
Well, that's very interesting.
I'm just saying I was like, this is the theory.
All the
the
code
only way out.
the screenwriters are trying to the Easter eggs.
Yeah. So that's proof for that theory, if it's true. We'll see. So season 4 was confirmed just recently, probably like last week.
Yeah, that was like out of nowhere to me.
I had already
because I felt like the gap between season 1 and season 2 was big, and then the gap between season 2 and 3 was even bigger.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, they're like, "Oh, didn't watch season 3 yet? Well, better catch up because season 4 is coming around the corner."
It's not. They announced it really early.
And all it was like a graphic. It wasn't really anything.
It's just telling us it got renewed.
I guess.
Like before that announcement, it was not confirmed they were gonna have another season necessarily.
As if.
Well, yeah, but also like
also the way that they
official.
ended it could have been like the end of the series because it's like they moved away.
Right. We're not Hawkins
and then
anymore.
It's like they start a new show called The American in Russia.
Yeah.
In a hole in Russia.
The chat is looking forward to season 4. Yeah, me too. I'm really hoping it's different. Like, it's the same formula. Even though everyone says season 2 is the same as season 1, I disagree. Because the Mind Flayer is this big villain that we get exposed to. But then in season 3, it's like the Russians is the next big villain. Like, the Mind Flayer's still there. It just wasn't as, like, new. It was so self-referential. I'm so over shows referencing themselves constantly. Like, I'm over it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine has been doing that. It's been making me mad. A lot of shows in later seasons start doing that. And I'm just like, no. Give me something new of these characters I like. But anyway, season 4 is confirmed. A little teaser came out that said we're not in Hawkins anymore. Obviously, because they moved. We know. And Russia, things are happening there. Which I find it weird. Like, are Russians offended by this?
If they can watch it, then yeah, probably.
But there's Russian people here. And in other countries. Like, are they offended? Like, are they offended to be like the villains? Or is it just like, oh, Americans are always the villains.
Well,
in
it's
Russia.
just yeah, it's such a old, since the Cold War kind of relationship that I feel like Russians expect it. Probably. I don't know how. I mean, I think that loyal Russians that are like patriots to their country probably don't like the characterization, and at the same time, I'm sure they have just as many pieces of media where they characterize us in that way.
How do you know though? We could just be brainwashed. Anyway, that's big government stuff. But Sophie's saying Russians have been targeted by our media for like 40 years.
Right.
And it's stale.
Right.
It's like, but this is the 80s. This is like the time of evil Russians.
Right. Well, yes, it's always been that way.
I know.
Since World War II.
It's just like weird. Like, it seems weird to make the big villain of this huge show like Russians. I don't know. It's like It's not like a mythical creature. It's like actual people.
No, it's it's a whole superpower on the other side of the world. This is why I liked Chernobyl.
Ridiculous. Yeah. You
Which,
like,
how do
Chernobyl.
people feel? How do Russians feel about Chernobyl being made by an American?
Well, I'm sure they hate
media
everything.
company?
They hated us.
True.
I'm sure. They hated
Somebody
us.
that we didn't really talk much about was Susie.
Okay. Oh.
And that's another controversial moment, right?
Yes, I was going to ask you, since it was a controversial moment. I liked it.
Oh my gosh. So what? In season 2, the big controversy was this episode or chapter 8.
Oh, right. 7?
Chapter 7.
Yeah.
And it was this whole unrelated kind of episode to the entire season.
Which I was fine with that as well. So I'm usually pro whatever the thing is.
So I guess the Duffer Brothers learned from that and decided to just make a snippet of an episode instead of a whole episode be
it still
different.
Well, no, not as much, but it still had controversy, big controversy.
Which is weird. I personally liked it. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I did. I thought it was a nice, clever comic relief, which is what the show is kind of about.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't have enough of.
It stayed true to the kind of goofiness of these characters. Do you want to help elaborate a little bit for our listeners?
Yeah. So we're talking about the part where at the end, Dustin is radioing Susie for Planck's constant, and they sing. They have a musical number moment for Never-Ending Story.
Never-ending story.
Okay, you got there. So they have, and it's kind of long, and it's funny. Everyone's listening, all that. And it was very polarizing to the fandom because even a lot of people go as far as to blame Susie for Hopper's death.
Oh, I remember when you were telling me about that, and I said, no, that's so true.
Yeah, you were like, that hoe, it was her fault.
But I mean, if you put it also like that, it is in a way the Russian English guy's fault because he didn't know Planck's constant.
Murray.
Murray.
Yeah, exactly. There's a million little delays.
He claimed to know Planck's constant. He's Mr. I know everything over here. And the one time when it actually counts, he doesn't know shit.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. I was into it.
It was good. It was a nice little moment.
Yeah. There was a lot of haters, though. Especially the people that felt...
Did they just feel like it was an unnecessary comic break in the...
Yeah, it was the action,
the climax.
Getting in the way of the action. Nah, I like it because I don't like the action. Anything that breaks up the action for me. Even which triggering for me involved some vomit. The Steve and Robin talk was also kind of towards a more heightened part of the end. So that was a nice break from action. I like dialogue. I'm into dialogue. Yeah. But yeah, I almost forgot to ask about that moment because it was important.
Don't worry. I got
you
it
do?
here.
What?
She's in there. See, Susie not real.
Wait, what? Oh, well, that's what they think at first. Yeah. I knew she was going to be real because everyone was saying she wasn't. I was like, she's probably real. I don't know if she's, as awesome as he says. But then she was.
She turned out to be awesome.
Good singer.
In Salt Lake City.
Well, and it was important because also Gaten is a very talented singer. The kid that plays Dustin.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. So they found a way to tie in his singing abilities.
He's good voice. Like theatrical or opera type.
Got it. Why is he wasting his time with Stranger Things? He should.
I don't know. I know. I think he has a band too. Nice. Most of the kids are in bands. They have their own bands. Yeah. Cool. So.
Well, this has been a really cool conversation about Stranger Things 3.
Did we miss anything, Chad?
Is there anything that you would like us to talk about that we have not covered yet? Is there anything that you've forgotten about?
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm looking at my notes. How does the monster not catch them? Is my note. It's just, yeah, it's a little bit like the monster's running and not getting closer somehow.
Exactly. My note, my little thing at the end was, how do they have a signal down like 50 floors underneath this
radio.
basement in a concrete bunker? How did their 1980s like walkie-talkies have signal up to the radio transmitters on the surface?
This Russian fortress was just not
Not
too
up to
fortified.
Par. And they make fun of how like the code is like so easy to break.
Right. I feel like they're just undermining
Which
Russians.
the code was funny. It was cool. It was a cool code.
What?
The code that they had in the transmission to describe where the location of the base is.
Oh, the like silver cat.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. That they figured out.
Scoops Ahoy, was that the name of it?
Yeah.
Scoops Ahoy. I liked that the ice cream parlor was nautical themed. Very cool. And then they also had a nice, cool Fortnite tie-in. Anybody who knows me knows I like my Fortnite. And at the time when season 3 was coming out in the summer, they had some little like Spawn
So did
outfits and spots.
Baskin Robbins turned some of their locations into Scoops Ahoy, and they also had like a flavor that was a flavor in Stranger Things. All of the mall stuff was really cute, very aesthetic, very nice. I mean, I loved all of that. Oh, the fireworks moment with the monster.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was just a very like climactic.
Well, fireworks are always climactic.
Well, yeah, but they were using them to fight, not for, just fireworks.
True. Well, I mean, it's a cool, clever use of taking this item that would be naturally around a lot during this, time of year and finding a way to utilize it.
And give the whole mood, because the mood was summer, the mood was patriotism.
And then maybe we can end on just talking about the color in this season.
The color?
Well, yeah, because the fireworks kind of like made these really, interesting colors and the kind of bluish neon lighting.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it here on the stream. In the poster we have next to.
You're moving the mouse around like they can see your mouse like a target.
The mouse.
Oh, that's great.
Wait, no. Wait, there.
Yeah, so if you look at that right there, you can see how kind of like neon the color schemes were in this season.
Yeah, it was very neon, very beautiful 80s. I mean, that's the thing that Stranger Things has on point. Like the 80s, the instructor moment where it's like a shady looking guy and then it's like the aerobics instructor at the mall. That was a great bit.
That's a really great bit.
Yeah. It had good moments. The pool was another location. Cougar storyline is back. She backed out.
She did.
The mom.
She had
from
integrity.
Cheating. Yeah, I guess. I was just like, oh my God, it's gonna happen.
No, she did not give in to the temptation. She almost did though. We know who did.
Who?
Heather.
Oh.
Was she? No.
Yeah, her name was Heather.
Was she taken by force?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she really was.
Oh.
No, yeah, that was creepy. All the like grabbing and the possessing and the that was all really scary.
We didn't talk much about that scene of going to the parents' house, her parents' house, and then getting her parents, like killing them. And then we didn't really talk much about the kind of whole detective agency or the newspaper, Hawkins Post.
The reason is because the thing that was their plot line made no sense, which we talked about at the beginning. It was the chemicals. Like,
right.
they were detectiving, but then it was like,
Well,
what
so
was the point?
it's like an example of, I think, how dominant masculinity
Right.
was in all things, all affairs, especially when it came to news, information, and media.
For sure.
In the 80s. So something to be aware about.
And then he got infected.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Sure
mayor was
did.
corrupt. He was an actor from Twister.
Now, he was low key cut there. One of the scenes I really liked, which I don't remember if Zeleny watched or not, was when Hopper cornered him in the room and
Oh, yeah.
forced him through like interrogation and torture to give him the information about the Russians, and that was a really cool scene.
It was
I love interrogation scenes.
Oh, that's scary. Yeah, I don't know.
They are scary.
The chat says loved Eleven's outfits. I
Oh,
agree.
Yeah, very
It's
true.
one of the best parts. The whole aesthetic. But yeah, her outfits. I mean, they sold her romper at Target, but it sold out real quick. Like the black one with the shapes.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, she had suspenders. Very nice inspo for me as well this summer. My 80s shirts.
Nice.
Yeah. Did we miss anything?
I mean, I feel like we've covered all of the bases of season 3 for Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It was
We
a
have.
thorough discussion, and oh my God, I really appreciated that you brought the crowd, and we were able to really make this a cool interactive session. I really enjoyed getting in these live comments and being able to learn a little bit along the way and respond. Did you
Yeah.
like that?
Oh, I love that. It's nice because people always try to text me after when we release podcasts like, oh, I agree with this or I disagree with that. And it's fun to at least have an opportunity for whoever can to come in and just say it live in our faces.
Sorry that we were a little bit behind schedule today. We hope to be more on schedule going forward in the future with these new season 2 episodes of Hikey Book Club. And
if you're listening in the future, try to tune in to a live stream if you want. But we're going to post this on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, wherever to listen to later.
Cool. I don't know what our schedule is yet.
Yeah, no. We're not promising.
I mean, we want to stick to Tuesdays. I think we could go a little bit earlier just because it's hard for me to, after a full day's work, keep the juices flowing this late at night. But appreciate you winding down your day with us. It's always fun to just kind of kick back and talk about the interesting movies and shows that are out there. It's October, and so maybe we'll keep Spooktoberfest going with another spooky show or movie next week.
Yeah, we'll see. But
I would love to do Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'd love to do It. I'd love to do Labyrinth. So we've got some.
If you have suggestions, let us know at Hikey Book Club,
That's
Instagram and Twitter,
and Gmail.
Hikey Book Club. HikeyBookClub@gmail.com.
I don't know who checks that email, but
Me.
somebody does. Oh.
I do.
Oh, that's good. Okay, well, we're gonna go to sleep, y'all.
We have done Hocus Pocus.
It's
in our backlog.
It's true. It's a deep cut.
Yeah, it's a while back.
I think it was last Halloween.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't been gone that long.
So that's a funny one because I showed, I introduced Zeleny to Hocus Pocus because I watched it a lot as a kid. She had never seen it. And she didn't see, like, she stayed awake for like the first maybe 50 minutes and then slept through the last like 30 minutes.
Well, I slept through the climax.
Yeah.
The action, it was boring. The action is boring. Sorry. I just fall asleep. That's my time.
The most exciting part of the movie, and you don't remember a thing.
I'm sorry. Do I ever watch it? I don't remember. Probably not.
I don't think so.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find something. Or we'll just talk about whatever, I guess. Or play a game again. I don't know. No copyright though.
True.
Unless it's live. Just live.
Well, maybe something that'd be funny is if we could find old pictures of Halloween of us in Halloween costumes.
Oh,
and
mine are ugly. I'm ugly.
give some commentary. That could be cute.
Maybe.
Maybe if you wanted to submit your Halloween pictures from the past, we'll comment on them.
Oh, that'd be fun. I want to look at other people, not myself.
It'd be like, this photo is from Mr. Juantastic, and here he says that he was a ghost.
Very Stranger Things. Very 11.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we're going to go get some rest. We hope that you have a lovely week and an even awesomer weekend coming up. And I guess until next time, you'll be hearing from our stream. Okay, so when you